Do. Hi, Luke
Hello. Hi,
Wallens.
Shannon Stott.
We're here, everybody. We're
hmm
here. It's me, it's Luke, it's you.
Yeah.
You're a journeyer, and you're wondering to yourself, what should I watch? And then you found yourself right here on design, on and off the design. And
Yeah.
then you were wondering, well, what's that about?
Mm.
And we're saying it's about improv helping your life. That's what we're saying to you. Okay.
Yep.
That's what it is. And then you're wondering, but how? And I will tell you how. And they're also wondering, but what are we talking about? And I'm saying, cool your haunches. Here's what we're talking about.
They were very impatient this time
I
around.
know what is happening
Wow.
with you journeyers today. It's okay. We've got it under control. Like we're here to support you.
Yeah.
Look at this.
How do we let go of a connection we had to someone's previous self? Ooh. 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 Of course, I've got questions. And
Yes. I told you, and listen, journeyers. Luke has the best questions, and I promise you, we're gonna have a little segment that's like Luke's questions. Luke's asking a question. Listen up. Do you have a question? Luke has one.
yes. Yes. Yeah.
Luke, what is
Got
your
lots of
what is your
questions.
question about this topic?
It's always context. It's so basically, so are we looking at like off okay, off the stage? Are we looking at like someone's in terms of someone's previous self? Is that um like is it a different age, like, oh, I remember when you were 10 and you did this and now you're an adult and you don't do this anymore, but do you still like dinosaurs? Oh, so yeah.
Ross from Friends. Do you?
I know, right,
I
right.
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so yeah, are you a paleontologist now? So yeah, but or is it like are we thinking of like, like, oh, I remember in our friendship 5 years ago we used to go paddle boarding, but now it seems like you don't like paddle boarding anymore, so
Who are you?
yeah.
What is wrong with you? Why don't you
Yeah.
like paddleboarding
Yeah,
anymore?
things have changed, you know.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, it's like you don't really like that memory of ours. Oh, hi, Sarah. Yeah, yay.
I think that I know, how about that? When I was looking at this, how do we let go of a connection we had to someone's previous self? It was more the latter. This
Okay.
idea that like the person we have or had a connection, and we're moving like forward in our connection, and that person starts to like change for what, for better or worse, maybe like the
Mm,
paddleboarding, like there's like
yeah.
I really, I used to like paddleboarding, but I don't like paddleboarding anymore. And you're like, but our whole world is paddleboarding. And then
I like the song.
like this whole like, but we used to paddleboard all the time. I want to spin all the way around.
Yes, yes. Woo.
Right? But this idea that we knew someone when they were
Mm,
blank, and we want to keep, how do we let go? There's something,
yeah.
sometimes it's like there's that feeling that you've lost a person, you've lost
Mm,
them,
yeah.
and this new person, you don't know them. Not that you don't
Yeah.
like them, but they're new to you. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, you're a new person. I don't know. What do I do? How do
Yeah.
I love you? How do I let go of that other person that you were? Period. The end. Or
Yeah.
a question mark, rather.
Yeah. 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 The end and question mark.
And
Yeah.
question mark.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Listen. I'm so ready.
so good.
Um,
Yes, Luke. Well, how about this? We can
okay.
start even with on the stage, because when we're
Okay.
talking about these types of things, like how do we let go of a connection we had with someone's previous self? So when I'm thinking about this on stage, I'm thinking about hats, the game hats, where you either switch hats or you put a new hat on, and these are your, if it's like you and me and you're the one switching hats, like Luke
Yeah.
would take a hat, he's a cowboy, and now he switches hats. He's a chef, and now he switches hats. He's a alien. Like, great. And how, like, for me, my job is to relate to these three different characters. I still relate to them,
Yeah.
but it's jarring as a performer, right? It's jarring, like, oh, okay, what are you
Mhm.
gonna say now? Now but you're always Luke. You're
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
the performer, the improviser is always Luke, and now we're switching hats. How do I move through those switches? And from a performer's point of view, how I would coach that is wait to see what
Ooh.
your yeah wait to see what the character Luke is playing is going to do, and then we play off of that. How's
Mhm.
that make you feel, Luke?
Yeah, I love that. I love waiting and seeing, and so you're learning patience to create a scene with the other person, and like
Mhm.
you're instilling that, and that's oh, what a great direction. I really really truly love that. It's just that's
We're
so
good at our jobs, Luke. Let me
yeah
tell
yeah
you.
yeah.
We're both very good at our jobs. But the thing is that, like, it transfers, right?
Yeah.
Because the what we on stage, our mechanism, our fear mechanism, wants to control the scene. So if you're the one switching hats, my usually what happens is my fear will have me talk over you
Mhm.
before you switch hats, and I'll be the one to talk, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to sort of control what's going on, but really it's absurd. It's absurdity on stage. It's chaos on stage. And your best bet is to, like, take a breath and see what this alien, what this cowboy, what this whatever has to offer, and then see where we can go together from there. And I feel like that's, I don't know, you talk
Yeah.
about how that um moves off stage.
Yeah, yeah. I think like I really love yeah, like the once again, yeah, just being patient with the other
Mhm.
person. And like what comes along with that, like it reminds me of like catching up with college friends after a long while and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And one, like coming in with like, oh, I wonder what's changed, like having that approach about like, okay, I wonder if they still like this, or if they still don't like, or they still don't like this, yeah. And things like that. And then also another thing that comes to mind is just like um, when you're reuniting with someone, or we're connecting with someone in the present moment versus the past moment, um, like it's wonderful to see what that journey was. Like, it's like, ooh, tell me that story. Tell me that journey of like how you got from like not like liking paddleboarding to not like paddleboarding. What's that journey? Or is there nothing to it? It's just kind of like, well, I just didn't want to do that anymore. I had some other stuff to do. So I don't know. So yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but I think marking like finding a way to mark out so you can follow along with
Whoa.
like, okay, so help me understand where you are in the present moment by like I gotta take it step back to like when we were best friends and we parted
Mhm.
ways, like what happened next. And
Yeah, yes.
yeah.
That the just that scenario um leads me into this question, and it is, oh, it's a little bit sad, but
Okay.
the idea that the person how do we let go of a connection we had with someone's previous self, that their previous self liked you and their now self doesn't?
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
What do
hard.
I do? It is hard because on stage, when there's a shift, I'm thinking of, to me, that brings up editing. That brings up
Yeah.
editing. When you're in a scene and you're like, this scene is the best scene. I love this scene. Look how
Mhm.
great I'm doing in this
Yeah.
scene. All the characters that are in this scene with me love me. We're flowing. We're doing a
Mhm.
great scene. And then somebody just like wipes your scene and you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's new. And we have to adapt. We have to like, and what's also interesting in that is that the audience, I promise you I'm getting somewhere. The
Okay.
audience applauds,
Yeah.
applauds. The audience applauds when we edit the scene and move on. And to me, that that is an underlying feeling that we should have. It's less of like, oh, I was doing so great in that scene and now it's over. Or, oh, that relationship, like they liked me before and oh, now it's over. It's more like, yay,
Yeah.
yay, it's over. It's a new opportunity for you. We're moving
Yeah.
on to the next thing.
Yeah, it's super positive. Because the thing is, what's underlying that is like, okay, cool. I know that that scene was ended abruptly, but we're applauding, and we're like, it's an automatic sense of closure of like, okay,
Ooh.
cool, closure with that scene, and then opening to another scene. Whereas like
Mhm.
it off stage, like if you find that somebody doesn't liked you a lot and then doesn't like you now, it's harder to find. Sometimes it's harder to find that sense of closure and that sense of like, okay, well, what changed, like,
Mhm.
and some people are ready to explain it and some people are not, and so that can like build up some anger and some tension,
Mm.
um and so you have to find different points uh to come together to find understanding, but it's
Mhm.
hard, and sometimes that sense of closure, like you have to find that sense of closure within yourself, whatever that means to you, like, because sometimes it may not be, you may not get it externally, you would need to work on it for yourself.
Yes, and w- it- one of the things that I coach is when you are on the sidelines and you feel like it's time to edit a scene, you should edit. Go ahead, do it. Like practice being intentional, practice showing up, practice saving people, whatever it is. But if you're feeling like it's time to go, then go ahead and go. And so that's the
Yeah.
I am coaching the person who is editing, right? And what we're sort of talking about right now is the person who has been edited, right?
Hmm.
The feeling like I was doing this thing and this person just, but when I'm thinking about that in terms of off the stage, I really am now, right now, thinking like, oh, we also, as we're inside, as we are in the scene, we also have to give credit to the person editing. There was something that they saw that it was time for this to be done. And it was their time. It was their time to go. It was your time to step aside. And there is a little bit of, I don't want to say respect isn't really, maybe for that's for the stage, but off the stage, acknowledgement,
Yeah.
awareness that the editor, right? The person that we're talking about who maybe you had this relationship before that you really enjoyed and now it's changed, they're not reciprocating the same emotions in this new place, or they don't like you anymore or whatnot. Something happened and it was time for them to edit. And I wonder, is there joy, is there something that we can, is there a way we can look at that that feels like respectful, supportive, acknowledging that they were brave, maybe in exiting something that wasn't suitable for them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. 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 And um, so yeah, two sides. So first side, when you were talking about like the person that was editing, like just follow that impulse to edit,
Mhm.
whatever that impulse is, and so that the equivalent is like, if you find that that this isn't working for you, like find ways to like, so that's kind of like, hey, figure out like maybe not exit the relationship entirely, but just figure out like, okay, is this why isn't it working for me, what are these feelings that are coming up about this, and proceed from there. And then the person um that that is still in relation with them, whatever that relation is, it's like, if you can come to that point of like, oh great, yeah, this is cool, wonderful, what, that's great, that's supportive and everything like that. Lots of times, because you have a personal uh attachment to that other person, because like, going back to the question of like, how do we let go of a connection we had to someone's previous self, it implies
Mhm.
that like we had a more personal connection than not. It's not like
Yes.
a coworker going to a different department. It's just kind of
Right.
like, okay, cool, awesome, see
See
you
you
later.
later. I'm
No,
still on the second floor.
yeah,
See you on that third floor, buddy.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo, like, catch you at lunch, so, or whatever. So, um, but like, uh, and like, if you can come to that point of like, okay, catch you at lunch, great, um but lots of times, because we have personal involvement, we have to figure out ways to reroute that,
Mhm.
be like, hey, that person is still a person, you're still a person, and that person, for their reasons, they needed to readjust the relationship,
Yeah.
and where they were in the relationship, or they needed to readjust to who they were, because it was just like that previous self doesn't serve me anymore.
Mhm.
And so, and I think like, if you if you can find new connection and new support, be like, okay, cool, I see that previous self wasn't working for you either, I'm glad you came to that realization and you're finding something new for yourself, great. How can I help support you, and
Mm.
how can we still stay connected, um, in that sense?
When you're talking about that, I'm still in this like editing mode thought,
Yeah,
but I love what you said about how can I still stay connected to you,
yeah.
right? This idea that if a person is editing, if they are changing the scene, we're still telling a story together, right?
Hmm.
We're still telling a story together. And that's not to say that unfortunately some stories, right, are edited, and the way you're telling that story together is to not be part of that person's life, right?
Yeah.
Like that's, you're telling your story and they're telling their story.
Mhm.
But there's like this overarching story that the both of you are a part of, which is just like the circle of life, and then moves the soul, something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so
It's great.
but
Yeah.
that I feel like we get a lot as far as on the stage influencing off the stage. We get some of that practice when, because I really do like what you're saying as far as like if you can come to that, right?
Mhm.
Like we get some practice in releasing things, we get some practice in cheering for people, right?
Yeah.
And supporting them. And it is good to at least have the practice so that maybe off the stage, it might be easier for you to come to that. And if it's not,
Mhm.
then maybe you go and you talk to Luke Wallens,
Hello.
projection drama therapist.
And we can work it out through scene work and, sociodramas. Yeah.
We still have time.
Yeah.
So another thought that I have on this, like, how do we let go of a connection
Mhm.
we had to someone's previous self? We always talk on this, we bring up this game a lot, and it's mirroring. I love, mirroring just
Yeah.
stands for so many things, like as
Mhm.
far as the idea. And when we I have led this in such a way that there are many groups, there are like many two-person groups, and so you're doing your mirroring, and I say to the person or the group, whenever you feel it, completely change the thing, completely change what you're doing, and if the person opposite you isn't following, go find someone else that might want to follow. I know. Go find someone else that might want to follow you. And so you've got these, you'll have people who are doing the exact same thing. And then someone's like, this is what I want to do. But the other person's like, no, I want to stay in this thing. Okay, great. And so both of those people go and find someone else. And there's this, we always talk about it, how does it feel? And there's always this feeling of like, there's a little sadness, right?
Yeah.
There's a tiny bit of like, well, I wanted to do this. My partner didn't want to do it anymore. Uh, I I had to go find someone else. And even the reverse is like, my partner was doing this. I didn't want to do it anymore. But I mean, I just wanted to try my own thing for a little bit. I just wanted
Yeah.
to, and it was freeing.
Yeah.
It was like this freedom of trying something different,
Mhm.
becoming somebody different, and then later, like maybe reconnecting and
Yeah.
following and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That's just it's a thing that came to my brain.
I love it, love it, and to go along with that, like it goes back to what you had said before, like with the hat game. Like even though I may be changing hats, I'm
Hmm.
still me. Like and like and with the mirroring connection, it's like, okay, so we're doing different actions. We're still individual selves, and like we may find agreement with that and we may not, like,
Right.
and but it's a lot of like, okay, are these actions suiting both of us? Like, are we or is it not? And it's
Mm,
okay. It's okay to feel sad about it, about that, that disconnection. That's okay.
yes.
Like, it's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to, feel whatever whatever you're feeling about that. But it doesn't mean that that person is gone.
Yeah.
It's just like that was a previous version of the self, and now, like it didn't. That's just what it was. It was just a previous
Hmm.
version of the self, but I learned differently, and I wanted to explore differently, and I wanted to learn a little bit more, with and connecting with other people.
Yeah. Uh, Luke, how come this one's sad? This one
I know
feels sad.
it does feel sad. It does feel sad. Yeah, and yeah, it does feel sad.
Well, it's such a growth
Yeah,
opportunity, right? We don't stay the same. We
no,
don't stay the same. I was just talking to Emily Arnold about this in our show, which is 30 minutes before this show. Go check it out on YouTube.
yeah,
On
improv on
Topic,
and off the topic. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it's really good.
yeah,
Uh we were talking about just change in general, getting
yeah.
the idea that what you said, there's still a person there, and there is an opportunity. That's where I was going. There's an opportunity for you to get to know the person that is in front of you,
Hmm.
you know? And yes, it can feel sad, but also we're all moving through life. We're all changing um daily. And
Yeah,
so this idea, how do we let go of a connection we had to someone's previous self? That previous self comes that previous self may have emerged in a different environment. Both of you are like also have moved forward. Whatever that environment is for that person may not have been the healthiest environment, or may have been super healthy and super great, but they want something new and challenging. However, like I don't want to, yes, I love paddleboarding, but I'm so done. It's yoga for me now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Pilates now.
Yeah.
It's swimming with sharks now.
Ooh.
Right?
Danger.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like a couple different ways to prepare ourselves for this kind of like loss of a connection or letting go of a connection. It's just kind of like uh, if you have the time, have the mindset of like, okay, this connection may be different. Like if you're
Mhm.
reuniting with somebody, college friend or something like that. Another way is to kind of look at like, okay, if it's in the moment and like, oh, this connection is being lost. This I thought this person was this way, but they're not anymore. Okay, all right. So and to realize that, like, yeah, you yourself change. And like, and so like, just as that person has been okay with you changing, it's okay to let them change and to allow them to change in your brain. And to accept this new change, because like it's pretty cool to see people ebb and flow to
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah. I for whatever reason the game
Yeah.
Tiny Voice is popping into my head, and I think that it's always lovely. So the game Tiny Voice, if you haven't played it before, usually there's one person on stage and one person off stage who voices the an object, a tiny little object. And so what you see is this person speaking to a rock or a dice or a die. Like, speaking to this tiny thing. And usually if it's done well, like the idea is that we get to see the inner workings of this die, right? We get to see the inner workings of this rock. Like this person was probably ignoring this rock or always had the rock sitting on their desk, but suddenly in this moment the rock gets to speak and has a voice, and you get to see like, oh, this rock really wants to be in the ocean, or this rock has been watching you all this time and has noticed blah 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 about you and wants to tell you something profound.
Ooh.
And I feel, yes, please.
Can we try it? Can we try that? It never gets old, and I love it.
Of course we can. Try this. Do you want to be the thing or the voice or the person?
Can I be the person?
Yes. Yes, you can be the person.
Okay.
You can be. I wonder, can I don't think you. I was going to try. I don't think you can hear me. I'm going to keep talking. Tell me.
I can't hear you.
Okay, well, bye.
Oh.
So,
Do you want me to?
like, what can we do? This, yes. We can go like,
okay.
Not me big, you big.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Let's just play this game.
Okay.
All right. So the game is like this. Somebody has an object. Ooh. Somebody comes across the object and they get to talk. I'm going to be the object. Oh, Jamie. Oh, Jamie.
What?
Jamie, down here, Jamie.
Oh.
Down here. Hey.
Oh, hi.
Hey there, Jamie.
How did you know my name?
Wow, Jamie, you have tossed me to your dog back and forth since you were little. Like I'm a part. You, Jamie, you and Nick are my family.
What? Oh,
yeah.
I'm really sorry that Nick slobbers so much.
Oh,
It's just
It's
really gross.
my honor to take care of Nick Slobber. Really, is my honor. I just see the way you love Nick. I see the way
Yeah.
you lavish Nick with care, and I didn't want to bother you, but I just noticed that maybe you're not lavishing yourself with the same amount of care these days. How are you doing?
I just like I haven't really wanted to play a lot. I've gotten really busy with a lot of jobs that I have been out a lot. So, I've been like taking care of Nick and stuff like that, but I haven't really played with Nick or with you, I guess, in a long while.
Yeah.
And, like, and, yeah, I just, I've been worried about um, like having enough money to live here and and also, yeah, I just want to make sure that we're like staying okay and stuff like that. But I forgot that like, hey, there are moments to play. So I thought, I'd come back and be like, hey, but Nick is nowhere to be found just yet. I think they're still sleeping. So
That's okay. I gotta tell you though, you're I've missed the play. You
yeah.
know, my only job really is to soak up Nick Slobber and to make sure that you and Nick have a joint have a combined affinity for each other. And that affinity is me. And if I'm not needed, well, you might as well just toss me over the fence.
I yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to. Uh, I'll have to bounce you towards Nick once they're awake, and we'll see if we can try again. But if not, I mean that's really sweet. But I think it'd be fun to just have you around because I just didn't know you spoke, and so this is really cool to like chat with you too.
Are you saying that you would want me around even if I didn't wipe up Nick Slobber?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because like you remind me that I'm like, oh wow, just remember to play, remember to have fun, remember to enjoy life, and and it's just like I just in this, it's just like I didn't think about that before, but now like talking to you, it's like, oh, right.
New. I have a new, a profound way of looking at life. Then I just want one more question. If you wouldn't mind just putting me like in a prominent area, that's all,
Oh,
so that you can remind yourself to laugh and play, and maybe Nick, will finally will just play with me on his own time.
yeah. I think I will. I think I'm gonna put them right up on the bookshelf. Like it's pretty high, but at the same time, it's height level when I'm standing, so it's great. So, so yeah.
I love this. Thanks. Thanks for just listening to me and reminding yourself to play. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Oh wait, I don't want to call you Ball. What's your
Oh,
name?
you could call me Jingles.
Jingles. Well, Jingles, it's really great to actually just to talk with you and just be like, hey, take a moment, play, have fun. So
Yeah,
it's really cool.
thanks. I'll be around. It's a ball
Okay.
joke.
Yeah, I
It's
know
a
you will.
it's
I
a
know
ball
you will.
joke.
I love it.
Scene.
Yeah.
Listen, talk to your balls. They are worth it.
Yes, yes. Just like just give just be aware of everything. Yep. Yep.
Of everything. I listen, I know we're over time, but we can do what we want because we're on this show.
Woo!
but but I love that. The idea
Yeah.
that you can if you can imagine a world in which this person, this object, whatever has feelings and has this new relationship that we're talking about, um how do we let go of a connection we
Mhm.
had to a previous self? The self that you're encountering, this new person, the
Yeah.
self that you're encountering has needs and wants, and They and maybe in this situation, they still want to be in your life. So, like, yeah, how do we navigate? How do we stay?
Yeah. Yeah. And so that also makes it easier to let go of the previous self, because it's just like, okay, cool. All right. So my wants and needs have priorities have changed a little bit, but at the same time, I still want that connection. So I'm gonna find it with you again.
Oh,
So be like, oh, cool. I'm gonna put you on the on the top shelf. So,
top shelf.
top shelf.
Oh, it's gonna be so great.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, friends, listen, play some improv games. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Play some improv games. And if you
Mhm.
can't if you're like, I don't know how these improv games are even going to help my life, look up Luke Wallens and take a drama therapy workshop, because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's worth it. And Luke Wallens is available on and
Off the stage.
mwah! Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.